Janet. Any leads?
Not much, but apparently he's taken an interest in your work.
Well, I guess I'm a lucky guy, aren't I?
I thought you stopped.
Yeah, well, I was just quitting.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Actually, Janet, hold on. Let me call you back. What the fuck? $20. 20 years is how long it took me to finally play Condemned Criminal Origins. You see, this game came out as one of the launch titles of the Xbox 360 at the time. It is also a survival horror game that was produced by Monolith Studios and published by Sega Games. I myself wasn't into horror games at the time, not until I went to Blockbuster and my mom rented Dead Space, which is a fantastic game, and after that, that's when I started, diving into like little horror games in there, kind of like Resident Evil, Left 4 Dead, stuff like that, just to name a few. Although I've never played Silent Hill, which I really should. The game starts you off as an FBI agent named Ethan Thomas, who is investigating a surge of serial killings and assaults. Shortly after the first mission begins, Ethan is actually framed for the killing of 2 officers by a serial killer known as the Matchmaker. I said Norn. Norn. It's known. Oh!
How does it feel to be on this end of the gun? But listen, you bastard. Don't mess this up for us. We are both on the same righteousness.
Thomas!
And the path takes strange
Freeze,
turns.
police! Drop the weapon now!
Be ready for death, Agent Thomas. It shall come. Visit him again.
Oh shit. However, things start to take an even more sinister turn as Ethan uncovers more of this mysterious case. Now, the visuals of this game, I would say, are pretty awesome. It's a little bit old, and around this time, like the 2005 and 6 and 7 era, a lot of video games had that weird, people call it like that green piss filter. You know what I'm saying? That was a whole trend going on. And not only just horror games, but like Gears of War had that. The Call of Duty games had that at first. I guess it was a trend going on. But this game in particular, it does look pretty good. It does have grain, which adds a little bit more grit to the world. But it does look a little outdated. I mean, it is 20 years old. However, there are sections in the game where when you're looking out a window and you see like the sun beaming through, it looks really good in this fictional city that you're in. But before we get any further, let's get onto the game case. On the top it says Xbox 360, Condemned Criminal Origins. I love this weird, creepy cover art. It's so weird with the chains all around their face. Then we have the spine over here. And then when we flip it to the back, the hunt for a serial killer has never been so terrifyingly real. Unpredictable enemies with complex AIs? I would say, yo, that's pretty true. Engage in furious hand-to-hand combat. Yes, and use forensic technology to analyze murder scenes. Yes, I love this whole like section of the game that you get to do these things. We'll talk about that more later on. Then we open the game case over here. It says Condemned Criminal Origins, the disc, same artwork as the case, and the manual. There's nothing really special. It is pretty thin, and it's in black and white, so we're not really missing much out of there. But other than that, that will do it for the game case. So what is Condemned Criminal Origins? Well, it's more of a psychological crime thriller than anything else.
All due respect, I don't need a shrink.
Since you're an FBI agent, you do have like certain gadgets that you can use to like solve like mysteries and like clues to get you to the next objective. One of them are like this radar that has like multiple lights in there, and the closer you get to like a foul smell, rotting dead corpse, it will blink even louder and louder. Then the other one that I really enjoyed was the one where you have like this UV light. Okay, so get this UV light, this was pretty awesome. You're in this house, right? And you can scan like all around it, and you see a lot of these markings around the house, and you follow them, and it takes you to clues. It's pretty awesome. The whole thing of it is like people are going insane the further you get into like this underworld area, and birds are like a big prevalent factor. So from reading the little loading screens, apparently there is like this bird flu that's infecting people. So hey, that's kind of part of the story, I would say. But if I were to give you like an explanation into what this game kind of reminds me of, not fully to that extent, but David Fincher's Seven. It has that somewhat certain feel to it. If you like Seven, I think you'll enjoy this game.
Help me.
Now, this being a 20-year-old game, how are the controls? How does the game play? Well, it's basically a first-person, not really shooter, although you do have guns in this game, but very limited, but it focuses a lot on melee weapons. So you can grab an axe, you can grab pipes, and you can use these things to like basically attack, block, or even like kick your enemy to stun them. You also do have a taser, which when you use it, you can immobilize your target. You can either take their weapons or at the same time just finish them off right there, which I would say is pretty handy. I tell you, I use it many times. If it wasn't for that, I would have been like dead sooner in the game. I guess the best thing that you can say when describing this game, think of like BioShock, right? How the first person kind of like maneuvers, and then take Dead Island with like their melee combat and merge that together, but in like a worse way. But it's not that bad. You do feel the weight of weapons. If you do have, again, like a pipe, like I said earlier, you swing it pretty quick, but an axe, you definitely have to like go all the way over. You do feel the heaviness to it, but the impact is great. I would always use an axe for a mallet just to like wipe down enemies. Although what I wasn't a big fan of was the block mechanic. Maybe I just suck at it, or I just couldn't time it, but I just felt like there was a delay. Every time they're about to hit you, and I would press the trigger, it would barely work. I would always be getting hit. Maybe I was doing it wrong.
Ah, that fucking hurts. Pussy.
But I really did enjoy the whole like combat mechanic. It definitely made you feel like really immersed into the game when you're like getting surrounded by these crazy like lunatics. Now, aside from melee weapons, you do have firearms. They are the best in the game. I mean, you can annihilate the enemies pretty quickly. The only thing is that once you run out of ammo, you can't really pick any up. Once that's done, you have to throw away the gun. Or if you want to conserve some ammo, you can actually switch it to a melee like weapon, but it does actually end up breaking. In terms of inventory, however, I thought, you know, as a cop, you can like carry multiple things. No, so you can only carry one like actual weapon in the game, being accompanied with your taser. You have your primary weapon, the taser, and then your kick. That's all. I guess it makes you kind of like think around your feet and be like, whoa, what's going on, and just be more alert. Not that I had a complaint about it, but interesting take on it. I did want to mention that I found this really cool little Easter egg that's like layered throughout the game, and you get an achievement for it. So you do actually end up like finding Xbox 360 consoles with the Condemned game playing in a CRTV. That was pretty awesome. I wasn't expecting that, so it's really cool. Little neat detail that I actually enjoyed. So props to that. I don't want to do it. Now, I would say one of the most important things when you're playing a horror game is the game scary? Well, yes. Now, here's the thing. It's not layered with jump scares. However, when there are jump scares, they're pretty damn effective. There were multiple times that it actually did get me. I was like, holy crap. And that's nice. It's not over reliant on it. The thing that it really relies on is just the atmosphere, the tone, and just the creepy vibe. I will also say that the music is very atmospheric, so that definitely made me connect to the game and the world more. Also, look at that title screen. Oh, that's creepy. That is creepy. Also, the main menu theme is nice. I do enjoy that. It's a little bit more jazzy. Not really jazzy, it's pretty horrific. Now, going back to like if the game was scary, it is. You are always in a state of anxiety. What I mean by that is that, you know, you're an FBI agent, and so you do have your gadgets when you're like looking around for clues. When you're switching from your weapons to the clue machine is what I'm calling it. It is rather slow, and if an enemy's coming at you, you're like freaking out. And multiple times I was like, oh God, get away from me. Oh shit, that scared the crap out of me. My nips got really hard there. I got scared. By the way, playing this with headphones, I mean, I feel like every horror game should be played with headphones. Pretty freaky. Also, there is an awesome standout level that I loved in this game, and it's the one where you're in a, like, I think it's a mall, and they're like mannequins everywhere. It's an abandoned mall. That was awesome. Now, the story does land. I'd say it works pretty well in a sense for a standalone, but to get the full answers, you have to play the second game, which I also haven't, and I'm very open to do that. Overall, I really enjoyed this game. It was pretty fun the first time playing it. It's around like 7 hours. That's what it took me to beat. So nothing too bad. Honestly, I would totally recommend this game. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more different, go ahead and pick this one up. It's pretty enjoyable. I would definitely recommend it. I'd give it probably a good solid like 8 out of 10. It was really fun. I love horror games and I still need to play a lot of them, like Silent Hill 2. I never played a Silent Hill game, and this sequel of this game. And to end it off, guys, that will do it for the video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Have you played Condemned? What's your favorite horror game that you ever played? What is your first horror game that you ever played? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time, okay? Bye.